Join. Hello.
Yeah, very good morning, Kimal.
Good morning, sir.
सुनाई दे रहा है?
हाँ, सुनाई दे रहा है.
Okay. आप कॉलेज में हो ना?
हाँ, कॉलेज में ही.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Satin sir. Mr. Kimal, make me co-host.
Okay, sir.
Kimal, are you there?
Yes, sir.
हाँ, co-host मेरे को बनाओ because बहुत सारे जो invited guests हैं वो what I can see they are in the attendee, okay? List. तो आप
Everybody, good morning.
Good morning, Satin sir.
जी सर.
हाँ भाई.
थोड़ा आवाज स्लो आ रहा है आपका.
हाँ, इसीलिए चेक करने के लिए ही just a minute.
Yes, sir.
Now it is okay.
Please कीजिए.
Now it is okay. Hello.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Dipali
Yes,
ma'am,
sir.
केम छो?
Comfortable
Good morning,
now.
sir.
Good morning.
बस सर मजाમાં.
Okay.
म्यूट कर दो.
ऑडियो सर प्रॉपर છે મારા એન્ડથી?
Perfect.
ઓકે સર, થેન્ક યુ.
ઇકો થાય છે મારી અવાજ થોડી કે ચાલશે?
Done, sir. Nothing. એટલું બધું નથી ચાલો.
ઓકે ઠીક છે
તમે લિંકમાંથી જોઈન છે
So the speaker will join 10:50. Okay.
ઓકે
Mr. Kimball, you have made the recording on right now. Kimball,
इट्स
हाँ
ऑन
रिकॉर्डिंग ऑलरेडी ऑन ही है सर
पल है अपने गणपत यूनिवर्सिटी constituent. So I request you to upgrade in the panel, okay? Because Pancholi Saab is there in the participants list, and just you verify, okay? Many people they have joined from the ID probably. तो आप update कर दो ना panel member में.
Kimal bhai, till the time our speaker join, can we play the video of aerial view Ganpat University?
Kimal bhai, just hold on, sir. I am exploring the video. Let me share actually.
यस सर
Thanks to all the participants who has joined early. Be with us. We are coming soon. The expert speaker, Mr. Mahankali, is going to join soon. Thank you very much. Oh, good morning, Srinivas ji. Sir, your mic is on mute.
Yeah. Good morning, Dr. Satya and Dr. Nirbhay.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, same here, sir. So let me introduce myself is Nirbhay Chaube. I'm Dean of the Computer Applications, Ganpat University. Along with we have Dr. Satyan Parikh, Executive Dean of the entire Computer Science program of Ganpat University.
Good morning,
And,
sir.
Morning.
Very distinguished principals of the constituent colleges of Ganpat University. Dr. S.S. Pancholi is the principal of SK Pharmacy College.
Yes.
So he is also there. And so this is, in fact, let me brief that participants, they are from the various states of the country.
Yes.
Okay, and few participants they are from outside India also. They have registered, and they might log in around 10:55 or something, because
Okay.
we have given the time 10:50, 10:55.
Yes.
So very pleasure to see you, sir.
Same here. Same here.
Uh,
I'm really
yeah.
honored for this opportunity that you are given. Yeah.
Yes,
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
thank you, sir. Yeah, Satyan, sir.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Bimal,
Really, it's a pleasure to have Mr. Srinivas Mahankali ji. I have seen, sir, you are author of lots of books related to the blockchain, and when I was exploring your detail, it means I saw Google profile, and it means your videos available on the YouTube and other places. So. Really, sir, it's a good. It means you have explored the details of blockchain in wonderfully, and I am sure that your talk would be very much useful for the audience, participants who are joining from different nations also.
Yeah, thank you so much. So actually, I am basically from MBA background, though I have done engineering. So I am always coming from the practitioner perspective. Whether it is, I have been a CIO myself. I was a managing director for an IT company for a long time. So I am always looking at from the practical use case perspective. While universities explore in detail about the theoretical constructs of the blockchain, and they have analyzed to the depth and come out with a lot of papers. So I always try to act like a bridge between the theory and people who actually invest and look to practice it. Today in the talk also, I mean, theory-wise, you people, I know people from, I've seen so many professors, always talk about blockchain to the depth, and it's amazing the way they, analyze it and keep doing so much of research and coming out with new paradigms. So I will try to, give you a different spin in terms of practical aspects and what's going on in the real world and how things are shaping up based on my experience. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, sir. In fact, sir, because of the Bitcoin, blockchain also it means get a lot of exposure, and generally it means what I believe most of the people, general audience, they relate the blockchain with Bitcoin only. They
Exactly.
don't know beyond Bitcoin. So
Yes.
I'm sure that your talk would be it means helpful to it means give the complete idea about the blockchain technology.
That's right. My first book, Blockchain, The Untold Story, also was written with the same purpose exactly 3 years back. It was published by BPB.
Yeah.
So the idea was at that time, Bitcoin was very much in the limelight. It was touching $20,000 when I started, I was about to publish the book in February, March of 2018. Then I tried to explain that, the blockchain technology that is behind this is much more powerful and much more relevant to all of us, not the Bitcoin cryptocurrency, which is just a native coin of a network of people, and, with their own mentality and with their own attitude, of wanting to do something totally different from the regulated world. So that's what I always been, working on the past 3 years as well, and getting more and more in depth about how this big blockchain technology can be leveraged by enterprises and governments. So that has always been my focus area. So today's talk is actually an untypical talk. Normally, people wouldn't come to me at all to talk about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And when Dr. Nirbhai came to me to talk about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, I was rather amused, and I said, let me take up this challenge and address it in whatever way I can. Thank you.
Right. So good, sir. I have seen that it means the books are available on Amazon and different platforms. So surely it means the audience after this talk, they will be able to. It means if they want to go into the detail, they will go through your books and other things also.
Yes. I'm very keen to work with your university as well, and help in whatever way we can work together to further this amazing paradigm called blockchain technology and make its adoption more and more. Yeah.
Right. Yes, sir.
yes, sure.
Nirbhai sir, at what time we are going to start?
11 o'clock, sir.
11 o'clock. Okay,
Yeah.
right.
Because blockchain technology is going to be a big game changer for the entire economy, business. It affects almost all the domain of IT. Right.
So now all the governments also started coming out with RFPs. I think Telangana government has just now come out with RFP for seat tracking. They're about to come out with an RFP for educational certification. They've already, evaluated in detail about land records. So in every use case, and then some of the governments have already implemented pilots or, encourage some startups who are working in this domain for various use cases. So across the country, a lot of work has already started happening. irrespective of the policy that's going to come out in the near future. But the technology is being really explored very well and used for whatever it's worth. And I'm very happy that universities like yours have thought about getting more and more deeper into it and engaging more with this technology. Yeah.
Sir, we have Dr. Ajay Gupta, who is heading our research and innovation department. Dr. Ajay Gupta, if you can please, it means share your video if you can interact with Dr. Srinivas Mahankali ji. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's muted.
Yeah. Yes, he's muted. Right. Dr. Gupta is working on the particularly in the energy because presently Ganpat University is trying to self-sustain in terms of energy requirement. We have
Hi, Dr. Rajesh. Yeah.
Solar system and
good morning.
Good morning, sir. Morning, Professor. Yeah.
Lots of project actually Dr. Gupta is heading.
Yes.
Yes. So we have established Energy Innovation Center.
Okay.
There are basically 4 verticals. So we are working on renewable energy. So all type of renewable energy we are taking into our center. So solar energy, wind energy, biomass, biogas, and maybe gravitational and other form of energy like bioethanol and other type of energies. Then we have electric vehicles. And third vertical is the microgrid, and fourth one is the battery storage and conversion technologies.
Okay. Oh, excellent.
So these are 4 verticals.
Yes. And I think the energy vertical of the government.
So we have already purchased electric vehicle.
Yeah. So
Yes.
India Smart Grid Forum and I think Ministry of
So we are
Energy.
collaborating with Government of Gujarat and Government of India.
Yes. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah.
So India Smart Grid
conduct...
Forum is experimenting a lot with blockchain technology along with the Ministry of Power, Energy and all that. So they're working on how renewable energy resources can be shared and harnessed further, and a lot of field could be given with the help of blockchain technology. So
yes.
Yeah, it's been one of the pioneers in terms of adoption among all the government departments at the national level.
Right.
Yeah, so whenever it is ready, you can allow me to share the screen so that I can.
Sir, I think we have given time 11 o'clock, so it is just we are 2 minutes away from the
3 minutes. Yeah. Yes, sir. So Ms. Deepali is assistant professor of Ganpat University English department.
Okay.
And actually briefing about the event, and thereafter, Madam C will invite you for the talk.
Okay. Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. We are going to start the session very soon. Please stay connected.
बंद रख लो.
Yes, sir. Shall I start with your permission? Satyam, sir?
Yes, madam. Let's start.
Okay, sir. Thank you. A very good morning to one and all present here. I welcome you all to the national webinar on blockchain technology, demystifying Bitcoin and road ahead for cryptocurrency under the initiative Emerging Technologies Lecture Series, jointly organized by Ganpat University, Faculty of Computer Applications, Internal Quality Assurance Cell, IQAC, Acharya Moti Bhai Patel Institute of Computer Studies, and IEEE Ganpat University Student Branch. We are pleased to have with us Mr. Srinivas Mahankali, alumnus of IIT Madras and IIM Bangalore, and the founder of Master Mentors Advisory Private Limited, Secunderabad, India. We welcome you, sir. We are blessed to have Dr. Satyen Parikh, Executive Dean, Faculty of Computer Applications, Ganpat University. We are elated by the presence of Dr. Nirbhay Chaubey, Dean, Faculty of Computer Applications, Ganpat University. We are happy to have faculty members, researchers, industry people, and students who have registered to attend today's program are from various universities, colleges, and IT industries from 21 states of India and from 4 countries. I warmly welcome you all. The main objective of this national webinar is to provide an opportunity for the researchers, faculty members, and students with a focused view on blockchain technology and Bitcoins, its uses, applications, benefits, and challenges, and also to interact with Mr. Srinivas. I invite Dr. Satyen Parikh, Executive Dean, Faculty of Computer Applications, Ganpat University, to deliver a welcome address. Please, sir.
Thank you, Deepali madam. Good morning. Am I audible?
Yes, very much.
Thank you. So upon this auspicious morning, it gives me immense pleasure to welcome the dignitaries for joining our national workshop on blockchain technology. We are thankful to the management of Ganpat University, especially our President Padma Shri Ganpat Bhai Patel, Pro-Chancellor Dr. Mahendra Sharma, and Dr. Rajan Bhai to inspire us to organize the activity like webinars and keep academic activities moving on even in the COVID pandemic. Thanks to all participants who are from the group of industry, technocrat, academicians, researchers, and student community for participating in this event, importantly from the different geography, including different countries. I am delighted to welcome our today's distinguished speaker, renowned researcher and academician, Professor Srinivas Mahankali, who is founder of Genuinity Labs and MMAPL. He also served as a general manager, Emerging Technology, National Institute of Smart Government. Mr. Srinivas is alumni of IITM and IIMB, having more than 30 years of industry experience. I'm sure that his talk will be beneficial for all of us, and we have the new insight to further explore blockchain technology. I'm also thankful to the IEEE Guni SB, who is established in 2004, and IEEE Ganpat University Student Branch is keeping up and its trend and setting up more milestone year after year, and continuously organizing many national level technical symposiums, seminars for the benefit of the students community. So now the tree of IEEE Ganpat University is growing in terms of its member year on year. We are sure that today's talk would provide the benefit to the researchers, faculty members, and students, and gives the opportunity to flourish the knowledge of the blockchain technology, digital currency, and pursue the further research in this area. The knowledge and insight from Mr. Mahankali, with his huge experience in this area, definitely inspire the participant to further explore the topic of the blockchain, and with the help of the books authored by Mr. Mahakali, you can further explore the topic in detail. Thank you, Mr. Mahakali, from the team of Ganpat University and Faculty of Computer Application for accepting our invite and grace this event. Let me thank and conclude my speech over here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Though Satyen sir has already talked about Mr. Mahakali, but still I would like to say a few words about sir, that he is an alumnus of IIT Madras and IIM Bangalore. And apart from that, he is the founder of Master Mentor Advisory Private Limited, where he is engaged in education, consultancy, and implementation of projects in blockchain and emerging technologies. His latest book is Blockchain and Healthcare, The Trust Factor. He has authored several books on technology like Blockchain, The Untold Story, Blockchain for Non-IT Professionals, Blockchain in Smart Cities. He also co-authored books like Secure Chains, Cybersecurity and Blockchain, AI and ML, Powered Agents of Automation, Blockchain Consortiums, The Business Model of the Future, etc. Now I would like to invite such a dynamic personality, Mr. Srinivas Mahankali, to share his ideas on the topic, blockchain technology, demystifying Bitcoins and road ahead for cryptocurrency. Please, sir.
Thank you.
Over to you.
Yeah, thank you. I'll be sharing my screen. Just let me know if it is visible.
Yeah, sure.
Is it fine? You can see my screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can put it on full screen.
Yeah.
Done. It's visible now.
Yeah. So, first of all, I'm extremely thankful to Ganpat University to offer me this opportunity of talking about, blockchain technology and also about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And everybody knows I've been a well-known critic, though I love this technology. And I'm really enamored with the entire mathematics and everything cryptography behind Bitcoin. But people know that the concept of Bitcoin and its network, everything, I'm not been so much in favor of it. And recently, when I wrote an article in LinkedIn, when the Bitcoin was almost touching $60,000 to $63,000, then I've written that it was all, I have a slide about the article which I written in LinkedIn. And I got nasty, sort of responses from all over the world. People, even in WhatsApp, my daughter from Singapore called up and said, "What is this you've written? Please remove that article." So, and the Bitcoin actually crashed to 32,000 after that. But you can see that it invokes a lot of passion. And I've been, a non-critic of that, but still, Dr. Nirbhay took, to challenge me to come and talk about this particular topic. And I would definitely try to give whatever insights I have and what are the reasons behind my stance. I know I've been working on this domain for almost 4 or 5 years extensively, and this technology is really amazing. And I will see if I can, in the limited time possible, whether I can throw some light on the various use cases of this technology. So it's what some of the things what I'm going to talk about. There are a number of slides. Each one is a number of issues are there which I would like to talk about. Maybe some of the slides I will skim through, which could be self-explanatory and visually depicted. And some of them I would like to dwell a little bit more time, but try to cover all aspects of blockchain technology from the user and implementation perspective, not necessarily from the theoretical construct perspective, because as a university and the computer science departments, they've always been very much ahead in terms of exploring this distributed and decentralized technologies and databases and programming, etc. And you are very much advanced in all these things. But I would like to give an idea about what is going on in the real world and how it is being used, and what are the various considerations that are behind the implementations in from whatever experience I've gained as a practitioner in this. I also worked in National Smart Government, and I engaged with several government departments, and number of government departments are now coming out with their RFPs across land records, educational certification, agriculture, the seed tracking, seedling tracking or organic farm produce tracking or marketplaces. Number of use cases are coming out. And of course, RBI is doing extensive research on digital currencies. And they're totally gripped with the idea of launching the central bank digital currency, and have explored and analyzing how other countries are also doing it. So I would like to just take everyone through some of these various aspects, and I'll be skimming through some of the technical slides wherein I expect the audience, is already mastered. So my background is blockchain, and I also will be talking about a little bit about my background and what we are doing, and a small story because all of you are aware of cryptography, mathematics, and programming, and APIs, and backend, and front end, and SDKs, and all those various Docker and all those constructs. But let me try to give a small perspective from an absolute novice perspective, how I loved explaining this to some of the industry users who loved this explanation, and then immediately warmed up to the idea of implementing blockchain. So I also talked about Bitcoin and the status of cryptocurrency market today, and what is happening, what it started out, and what it is currently ended up with, and what's going on right now in the cryptocurrency world, and how the world is adapting to this blockchain technology across the world. Various countries, what they're doing, what they're planning to do, and some of the biggest pain points being solved today by blockchain technology, as expected by a lot of government departments. They have certain expectations of this technology, in terms of eliminating silos of information and providing single source of truth, and also eliminating a single point of failure, etc., and also providing a lot of security. And in future, data, everybody knows, data is a new oil. Now it is the gold, it is diamond, whatever. And blockchain technology enables the secure trading of this data and monetizing of this data. And in India is going to be the largest producer of data with all the IoT devices, as well as the largest population, which is well educated. And the country which is able to monetize its data better is going to be the superpower of the future. And that's what blockchain is going to facilitate. And RBI and government and India have been doing a lot of activity behind the scenes to facilitate this in the future. So that is going to be one of the biggest applications of blockchain technology. And what are the challenges? Of course, every technology, every new paradigm has got its own challenges. Try to throw light at some of the challenges that we have been facing when we try to implement this blockchain or advocate this blockchain technology. And myself, I have written a number of books. I think Professor has already talked about some of the books I've written. Always my perspective has always been from the novice perspective and from the user perspective or the practitioner perspective. I try to showcase the real life use cases and examples, and show how blockchain can be used or how it is being used. I try to explore these use cases in depth, how they started, how they have come about, how they are growing, what is their future, and and how where all that it's being used. Every one of my books is always focused on very less theory. Theory will be very foundational aspects have been covered well, but a lot more about how it is being used, how it can be used, how it can leverage, etc. I have set up CEOs in 2 companies, my earlier companies. Then when in both the companies, I was the first employee of blockchain wherever I joined. And we have worked extensively with state governments. We have trained state government officials, reviewed DPRs of various created by a lot of Big 4 companies, and across various domains: agriculture, land records, educational records, and and marketplaces, number of them, and document management, etc. And also been part of creation of RFPs, and some of the RFPs have started coming out now. And my company MMAPL. So I wanted to start my own company and be a part of implementation, because NISG was more of an advisory and analytical role. So I wanted to be part of the real life implementations and see how blockchain can be really implemented and used for a number of use cases, solving a lot of problems of the people and companies and startups by leveraging this technology. So currently we are working on a number of products. We have created along with our partners. We have partners like Acubus Technologies, NatSoft Corporations, KZ Blockchain as a Service. So we have created a number of products we have created a university certification product, and then we have employee rewards and recognition management on blockchain program on blockchain. We have because I have recently written a book called Lost in Pandemic, Found in Pandemic, wherein I try to cover a lot of lives lost, and and a lot of my friends have lost their lives in the pandemic. So most of them have lost their lives without any proper documentation and wills, or letting other people know what all assets they own. So I try to help these such families in the future by creating a blockchain based product on by storing wills and all relevant property documents of individuals. So this will address each and every person on the earth. And then another product based on startup record keeping services to track on the real-time basis what are the efforts in terms of resources or money invested or time spent or duties done by founders or various employees in a startup company, and correspondingly what are the shares they should be owning, and what then is the valuation of the company. So all these things could be tracked in live basis. So we have obtained a very seasoned chartered accountant and valuation partners as well as lawyers to be part of our this particular product, and we are offering these services to the startups. So we are about to launch all these products and services. They're almost ready, and we are offering courses, training. We are extensive, more than 200 students who are all mostly general managers, CXOs, or working professionals passionate about emerging technologies, wanting to reskill, upskill themselves. They're a part of our course, Certified Blockchain Professional and Certified Blockchain Solution Consultant. And we also have another course, IT Fundamentals in Blockchain, which gives a very good grounding about all the theoretical constructs and programming constructs that will help them to grasp this technology and all these various patches much better. Unlike a lot of people who try directly getting into blockchain, they have a lot of difficulty in understanding how it works and getting adjusted to this new paradigm. So if you go through this IT fundamentals thoroughly, so we are tied up with the Navin Reddy of Telesco channel, and who is one of the legends in terms of programming. And anybody, a lot of people, almost anybody in IT would be knowing his channel called Telesco and YouTube, wherein we got more than, I think, 15 lakh followers. And a lot of people would prepare for their interviews for IT by going through his various lessons. So we are tied up with him for providing this IT fundamentals for blockchain free of cost to all our students. And then a lot of people have appreciated this. And we have partner companies. Accubit is a leading company. They have won number of awards. All these are global, Indian global companies operating in both blockchain as well as AI analytics, IoT, and all the emerging technologies. So we have very strong partnership with them. We work very closely with them, in terms of developing our products or in terms of executing our projects. So we have given below all the various websites corresponding to these products. And we are also launching an NFT marketplace called indiamurals.com. So that will actually talk about giving proof of ownership to creators of art, whether or any any asset, any digital asset or even real life asset also. We could give a proof of ownership, which is recorded in the blockchain, and then ownership changes are tracked through that, and can be verified at any point of time by scanning the QR code, which is pasted on the particular item which is sealed onto that in a tamper-proof manner. So we are trying to address, through our company, we are trying to address the problems of learners to be able to showcase their credentials using blockchain-based certification, and also teach them blockchain. And in future, we are going to launch courses on AI analytics, IoT, and other emerging technologies. All individuals through wills management, startup through record keeping services, corporates through the employee recognition and reward programs on blockchain, creators through the NFT marketplace, and university. So we're trying to address, by leveraging this beautiful technology, all the problems of these various segments of people. We're working in the domains extensively on agri supply chain. We're working with a award-winning Indian seedling supply chain, revolutionary seedling company operating out of Indo-Israeli the partnership in Kupam. They are one of the finest organizations offering seedlings with a revolutionary grafting technology on hybrids, etc., and also offering organic produce. So with them, we are helping them to scale up by leveraging our blockchain-enabled automation. We are, of course, operating in record-keeping, collectibles, premium appliances. We are working with a couple of companies. We are engaged with Aditya Bulla Group company for their windows, aluminum window, premium aluminum windows for supply chain tracking, and also Atomberg, another revolutionary energy efficient appliances company based out of Bombay, which is one of the fastest growing organizations, which is now expanding in Pune to track, for track and trace of their premium products. And in healthcare, we are working with a Chennai-based organization, which is an aggregator of a lot of healthcare resources and assets, and also medical records. Then we are in education. We are already offering our own courses and we're going to partner a number of other organizations to offer their courses and also offer all their certification using our blockchain product. So we have a very fast growing team. In the past 2-3 months, we have experts who are working with us as advisors, who are managing partners, CXOs. So we have got 4 PhD doctors who are engaged very much permanently with us as advisors and co-founders. We have a lawyer, we have a auditing firm, experienced technology and management professionals, because we are working in the domain of wills and also startup record keeping. So we are coming back to the blockchain technology. All of us are aware, this is a photograph of a paper, which is a typical paper which you would come across any day, wherein you are coming across a number of fakes. So fake identities, fake benefit claims, fake subsidies and benefits, manipulated voting. If you see in this article, every element is connected with some sort of, it is actual photograph of the actual newspaper, which I have taken, in which almost every item is linked to some manipulation or some fake issue arising out of corruption. And this is also well covered in my course, Certified Blockchain Professionals, where we talk about the problem of ethics. Why have today we are increasingly faced with people who are undertaking shortcuts to reach to that top, or are fabricating a lot of information about their own identities and sometimes even their own death claims. We have seen even in COVID, 10 crores worth of insurance was paid to patients who did not die but fabricated false death claims. So these sort of things are happening, and we have fake, 30% of the drugs in the in the developing countries, they're all fake medicines. So we are coming across this sort of fakes in every domain, and this is an accepted fact. And this is a proof right in front of our eyes, and this is not very long ago. So that's where ministers and our including Nitin Gadkari and everybody has acknowledged that motor vehicle department is playing with the fake driving licenses, fake number plates, and we know of the number of frauds which have been committed in the banking system with the because things could be manipulated in centralized organizations, which are under single admin control. Or single management, they could well be manipulated and things could be changed. So that's the problem that we are facing, and all these things are leading to huge amount of wastages and unnecessary costs, loss of public money, and inefficiencies in the system. And government is government understands this very well, and they have been promoting a lot of automation in the recent past, a lot of activities aimed at eliminating the middlemen. They're passing laws and rules, everything to eliminate the middlemen, automate the things, and reduce human interference. But we are also, but most of the time, currently, we are still, talking about centralized systems. And there have been some departments, like we have seen in India's Market Forum and Tata Power and Power Ledger and government of India. They have been working on implementing blockchain for renewable energy trading, and we have seen telecom TRI implement blockchain technology for blocking unsolicited commercial communications. We have seen income tax department have conducting a pilot to ensure that people don't fabricate their tax deducted source or income levels for availing loans, etc. So number of departments have been exploring this technology that is decentralized decision making with a distributed or a shared ledger that effectively solves a lot of these problems of unproductive middlemen. So blockchain actually enables, it's an inter-enterprise game. It is unlike all the technologies we're all aware of. That is the reason why you find a lot of people finding it difficult to come to terms with this new technology and adopt it. We are very good at understanding the technology which is within an organization in the form of CRM, ERP, analytics, all these things. But blockchain involves multiple parties who are dealing, in an ecosystem to collaborate with each other, share certain data with each other, and also collectively undertake decisions among themselves on certain transactions, and then commit them to a ledger in such a way that this particular data and whatever application outcome, they could not be altered, and that's how it enhances the transparency and the trust. So people would be dare not commit anything of outcome of any mischievous activity or malicious activity onto the blockchain, because they know that they will be caught and they cannot change it, or because they cannot manipulate whatever is recorded on the blockchain. So that is one of the biggest advantages of blockchain, is a tamper evident and shared distributed ledger that records transactions in a public or private peer-to-peer network. So if you want to change any information on this, you need to change the information that is recorded on the the validation network, validator network, and also wherever it was then distributed and shared across multiple ledgers. So which is almost impossible to think about, right? So that is how it offers immutability and tamper evidence. And more and more, a government is pushing every department to start adopting, looking at this technology. Recently, there was a circular for government also asking all the organizations to look at storing all their financial records in such a way that they cannot be altered. They will be tamper evident and immutable record keeping, so that they cannot fudge the records in the future. We have been always used to a window dressing by corporates to boost up their shares, or to take more loans, whatever it is, for a number of reasons. So all these things will be eliminated in a single stroke if companies cannot commit any fake or wrong or wrong data that they would like to change later. So everything is immutable, and any tampering that is done, it will be evident to all why it has been done, what has been done, and then updates have to be posted onto the ledger to change the data. So all confirmed and validated transactions are blocks are linked and chained from the beginning of the chain to the most current block and the term blockchain. But blockchain is a specialized form of a distributed ledger technology. So we have also been witnessing the usage of distributed ledger technology, as well as immutable databases like quantum ledger databases, which may not be blockchain in the real sense, to also being used interchangeably in number of use cases, wherein so we have to be very careful about where exactly we want to use blockchain. There have been a lot of validation criteria which has been well explained in a number of situations. Government of India also has come out with, NITI Aayog has come out with a report in which they have explained the various conditions that are required. Even NIC, they have come out with a report as to where exactly you can use blockchain, how to evaluate such use cases. So this is a simple diagram which explains in one slide exactly what is the utility of a blockchain. Traditionally, we are used to seeing the used to dealing between parties by keeping a centralized trust keeper in the middle, right? That is what is on the left side, the single unit of people dealing, and there is a small, like Amazon, there are the buyers and sellers. Amazon is providing the trust, but so what happens is this trust keeper actually have grown very, very big, and it becomes virtually impossible for small people to compete with these trust keepers, because people won't trust these smaller companies, because the trust keepers over a period of time, apart from the large network, they have gained a lot of goodwill, and they also invested heavily in terms of infrastructure to be able to really provide a foolproof sort of a system. But the thing is, they have used the power for wrong ways, and they become a single point of failure for a number of reasons, like they dictate terms. They can do anything they want with their users. We have seen in Twitter what they have done to our minister also. Okay, so like that, they have become sort of behemoths who can do anything and everything, and they could and they also have become a target for malicious attackers. As a single point of failure, people could just attack them and come out with take away data. In Twitter hacking, through Twitter, they have hacked into accounts of a number of leading personalities, and manipulated the cryptocurrency markets. Number of things they have done, right? Done false propagandas. So all these things could be possible. So that is where the problem of a few behemoths. So when internet started, it was supposed to be putting power in the hands of communication, power in the hands of everybody. But ultimately, the power ended up in a few behemoths like Facebook, Twitter, Amazon, Microsoft. Okay, there's nothing wrong, but the problem is that risks are also increasing. So as long as they're all using it responsibly, it's fine. But if they fall into the wrong hands, the ownership changes, or they are unable to keep up with pace with the malicious hackers, all these things, the single point of failures could play havoc with the citizens' lives. We have seen it happening in front of our eyes, and more so in the world of pandemic, where the adoption of technology has gone up a lot because of the digital transformation that is taking place all around, right? So everything is digital. So cyber hackers are making hay. So that's where we have this technology like blockchain, which brings a new level of security and safety by creating a new layer for access, authorization, and authentication. So for committing any data or to interact or manipulate any data in the systems. So it becomes very, very difficult for these malicious hackers to penetrate into these systems. And then, because they cannot pass through all these three layers because of the various cryptological, mathematical, and programming constructs that blockchains employ to be able to commit the data and change the data or manipulate the data. And so the transaction information, as well as the access credentials, whitelisting of identities, who can deal with whom, all these things are inherent properties of the blockchain, which can actually potentially block any cyber attackers. And we have seen in the case of TradeLens, when Maersk was attacked in 2016. They were attacked with WannaCry virus, and they were totally crippled. They were 20% of the container traffic was going through them. And then they adopted a blockchain technology along with IBM. They created TradeLens, and then now 60 to 70% of the container traffic is going through TradeLens. But there has not been any incidents of any cyber hacking after that on those particular systems. So that is how blockchain you've seen in case of Estonia also, which was once upon a time totally crippled because of cyber attacks, and then they adopted blockchain technology, and now they are totally free from all cyber attacks. So like that, blockchain has been offering cyber security, and a lot of checks and balances have been input to the system. And it acts, this particular blockchain acts, this system acts as a trusted third party, offering the trust to this people who are interacting with each other. So that system is taking to say, I'm here, don't worry, you people go ahead and do your transactions, because this system offers consensus-based decision making for all the transactions, and then the transactions are committed to the ledgers and then distributed to a number of peers. So it becomes virtually impossible for people to change this information later. So that is how, and the same this particular concept of the consensus-based validation and distribution or sharing of the information to what ledger, it is used by different platforms, whether it is Ethereum or whether it is Corda or whether it is Hyperledger Fabric or any of the Hashgraph. Number of them are operating with different variations of these particular concepts only. So everything can be fitted into this particular thing. Either you have fewer parties or more parties or all parties, or or a consensus mechanism which is centralized or decentralized, or one admin, or three companies or more companies or all companies working in tandem to commit the ledgers. So all this, you have multiple variations depending on the use case and the situation, or some new innovator coming out and saying, okay, I know I've managed to find this particular variation, combination of things based on which I could increase the speed and increase the security and increase the privacy and reduce the cost. So these are various checks, the various trade-offs that people offer by leveraging, by manipulating, the balance between all these various aspects that you find in this particular, diagram. And then they come out with a new, type of a platform or a solution. Okay, so that's where ultimately blockchain is nothing but a system of computers, and it uses PBK-based infrastructure to be able to offer cryptographically secured identities to everybody who has got. Everybody has got a public key and a private key, which are mathematically linked, and they operate in a particular system, in a particular platform. They're well recognized to be able to handle all the transactions, sign the transactions, encrypt and decrypt the transactions, And then once they are approved, then verified, then everybody finds okay, nothing, no anti-bank, everything is perfect in order. Then they are passed through the they are committed to the ledger of all the people who are participants in the system, right? So in Bitcoin, actually, what you have is it's completely distributed ledger, and it's a decentralized system. So what happens is anybody could be, and it's an open system, it's a public and permissionless system. So I also can download the mining algorithm and can become a part of a mining network and start validating the transactions potentially. So what happens is even hackers also could do that. So to keep the hackers at bay, the system imposes a lot of checks and balances and conditions, and makes it prohibitively expensive for any hacker to be able to push through his transactions and commit them to the ledger. So the number of checks and balances, I think there are some very good videos which are there in video what happens under the hood in a Bitcoin. There's a video, and it's a 20 minutes video which explains very well. And it's also you can go through it and you can easily understand how Bitcoin functions. So since anybody could be it's a permissionless system, it's a public system, anybody can take part in it. To keep the malicious hackers at bay, it involves spending enormous amount of processing power as well as energy and to be able to commit the transactions. So it becomes the ROI is almost negligible, negative for malicious hackers to push through their transactions and force double spending, right, to be able to manipulate the ledger of accounts. So and then since you potentially hundreds of people could perhaps at the same time meet the conditions so that their block could be attached to everybody's ledger, it puts a competition among all these people who create the blocks. They're called the miners, and it says whoever is able to crack this puzzle first, okay, it throws them a puzzle which is mathematical puzzle, which involves again a lot of permutations and combinations, and then it involves usage of even phenomenal amount of energy and computer processing power of creating billions of hashes and cross-checking with some sort of target that a network imposes. Whoever reaches the target first, then they will be able to send their block to everybody, and then that would be committed. And after that, again, a lot of checks and balances are there, because different people could, even then there could be 10 people potentially could be solving this algorithm, and then their blocks could potentially be at the same time and be added to the ledgers. So again, there are checks and balances about longest chain, whichever is the longest chain that will remain, and all other blocks in other smaller chains, they will disappear. So like this, there are a number of checks and balances. Ultimately, the idea is the transactions are validated. They are all verified thoroughly. And then they are, once everybody accepts, then they're about the genuinity of that, and then validity of that, then they are committed to the ledgers. And then once they are added to everybody's ledgers, they become immutable and almost impossible to change, as long as they're belonging to the longest chain of blocks. So that is how the Bitcoin works. And it's a simple thing. It's made complicated because of this type of games people play in that. That's what actually people find a lot of problem in understanding. But you don't have to necessarily, break your brains to understand that, because that is it's only a method, and that is not necessarily consequential to your understanding of the working of Bitcoin cryptocurrency, or any cryptocurrency for that matter, or the working of blockchain technology for that matter. But Bitcoin serves a phenomenal purpose because today a lot of people, Bitcoin blockchain is a new technology paradigm. If anybody says how is the blockchain? Blockchain, is a fad. Blockchain does not work. There's no use case of blockchain. Blockchain, is I don't understand blockchain. All these things people talk about it. You just have to go and see there is a $500 billion worth of currency which is being traded in between peers without any central bank or the government controlling it. Okay, if you look at it, it's happening right in front of your eyes. It's money, real money, valuation being created and money being transacted between people. If that is not a use case, then what it is? So it serves the people, first for the people to understand that this blockchain technology can work beautifully and seamlessly. It has been working for more than 12 years, and it's never been cracked, right? Of course, the paraphernalia surrounding it have been cracked in the form of exchanges, wallets, a number of other associated programs. The program has not been cracked, because the moment it is cracked and some double strand spending happens, it could potentially happen with the quantum computing coming in the future. But it has not been done. So the blockchain technology is a beautiful validation of blockchain technology as such. So for people to understand what blockchain technology is there, it is working. It is about $500 billion worth of money is being transacted and traded between peers without any central party, and that's what blockchain technology stands for. So all the other platforms, what we see are all of different variations of the various elements of the solution that Bitcoin puts in front of us as an example of blockchain technology. So here, if you see a supply chain transaction, there are multiple parties, all of them, there are identities and assets being exchanged as per using certain programs. So the difference between normal databases and blockchains is that blockchains, the programs, the assets which are owned by identities who are recorded on the blockchain, they can be transferred between each other based on certain applications and programs and in a programmatic manner and in response to certain events that are happening. So in a database, that does not happen. Database is purely a store of data, but blockchains actually allow exchange of data and information, and it is programmatically driven. So blockchain is equal to smart contract plus database. And if you are in the real world, you are using used to a front end and back end and database, and then database. Here you have front end, back end, everything is there. In the database is replaced by database plus a programmable database. So blockchain offers programmable assets to be and a ledger for programmable assets, and complete tracking of that and in a transparent and trusted manner. So that's a beautiful the paradigm shift that blockchain has brought about, of inducing programmability into standard databases. So and whenever any events happen, those things trigger actions on the blockchain assets, and they will be exchanged or they could be recorded. Any activities, suppose if even other things like IoT data, like temperatures going out of sync with the normal allowed limits, all those things could also be recorded using smart contracts, and then somebody at the end could scan and find out whether the consignment came through within perfect sync with respect to all the conditions that have been imposed or not. So everything could be tracked, because you keep on recording any variations or any exchanges or any ownership changes or anything that matter on a ledger which is immutable, and all these things are recording in such a way that at any point of time you can check what is happening on the blockchain by through an explorer or through a linked QR code records, depending on who is allowed to view the data or not, right? Whether it's a public information or a private information. So all these things can be configured well. So that is what it's a blockchain. So multiple parties can then close their eyes and trade with each other. And this is what I wanted to showcase something different which normally used. So I keep on asking, people keep on asking, they are used to relive things. So when I say immutable, when I say blockchain, I've got very good memory. So I find it very easy to tell them that blockchain can track and trace like a sniffer dog. Okay, the moment you blockchain item comes into the blockchain, and when it keeps moving from party to party to party between 100 parties also, your entire track is recorded on a blockchain. It can be traced back to any level to the origin also. So that's what a sniffer dog does. And it has got a huge memory. Blockchains, they have permanent memory. They keep anything, they keep forever, right? So that they have a huge memory and very strong, because blockchain is a collection of people. It's not one company running a huge business. It is a group of people working together with in tandem, offering, collectively taking decisions, collectively committing data, collectively providing the trust. So this is hence, because when a group of people are working together, the strength of the system is enormous, right? So, and it is very fast. So in a system, in a normal system, data or paper moves from one party to another party to another party to another party, and each party gets activated only when the previous party is activated. Here, because of the distributed ledger and the shared ledger, the data simultaneously flows on the same instant to all the people who are connected in the particular network. So it's lightning fast. It's almost real time, right? So it is no paper flow. There are standardized documentation. So, and then it's long life like a tortoise, right? Blockchain is forever, right? So, and then it can endure like a horse. It can sustain long time, forever. And then it is very intelligent. Blockchain does maximum amount of computation. Actually, it can be in terms of it uses most complicated cryptographic puzzles. It involves a lot of programmable databases. It involves a lot of APIs. And once you program something and keep it inside, you can never fudge the data or hoodwink the system. And it is very intelligent. It can catch you the moment something is, you try to push a wrong data, immediately it says it is not authorized. It is not authenticated. Wrong party comes and tries to, a BMW car, which could be manipulated otherwise, if it's totally automated. But if it is controlled using a blockchain, and the moment somebody tries to, hack into it, it says, your identity is not whitelisted in my account, and I would not take instructions from you. So blockchains are very intelligent. And they, blockchains use enormous amount of messaging, events, and every item that happens, it could flows inside, outside, and the data could be taken out to messaging systems and then analyzed and updated, and a lot of interactions could take place with external systems, and then data could be taken from outside and then inputted through to programs, and then you can trigger applications on the blockchain itself. So number of blockchain uses events and messaging, like crazy. So these are all, if you see, and blockchain is programmed like a robot. It's totally automated. So blockchain is a combination of all these various qualities, right? So blockchain has got many qualities. There could be many more also. I try to capture. In fact, we are writing a book. It's a book on blockchain farms. It's somewhat similar to animal farms, wherein a lion will be managing in a forest, and there will be people coming in and trying to do some activity, and later some people go out of the system and try to do their own activity like a Bitcoin, and then ultimately lion gets back, mends its ways, and everything again falls in place. It's a beautiful book wherein we try to explain beautifully the connection between animals, environment, mining and farming, and number of things in the form of a fictional story. Okay, so but now coming to Bitcoin, we've seen that the elusive, Satoshi Sakamoto published a white paper in 2008. In October 2008, he published. In 2009, 3rd January, the first transaction happened, and blockchain Bitcoin network was launched. Bitcoin is nothing but a coin which is representing a certain value unit in a particular network. Okay, it's a different matter that now that the network has become big and that value in it and now started getting used for other purposes outside of the network, for purchasing things and or using in e-commerce websites or using as a value in it, etc. So that's a different matter. But actually, it is supposed to be used within a network of people and for exchanging some sort of value. Right? It's supposed to solve everlasting monetary woes. And when it was launched, there was a lot of problems going on in the world. The central banks were not able to control the inflation, and they're printing money, and a lot of resentment was there about all the policies and their helplessness and negative role of the governments. And that's when they said, okay, let's have a peer-to-peer cryptocurrency, value in it, which doesn't is not subjected to inflation like what we see in normal life. And it could, there's some sort of some amount of inflation has been programmed into this particular asset, right? So that is how it was supposed to solve problems. But the inflation, which was supposed to be say 4% per year or something like that, now you see it can be anywhere between plus 100% to minus 50%. So it has become like that, unfortunately. So it was started as a revolutionary economic to help create a more equal society through enhanced financial freedom and liberty. It said, anybody, you don't require any your Aadhaar data or any data. You just log in if you have a computer, access to a computer, create your account and get a wallet, and then and you can start mining or you can start trading. You can. So it's easy for any Tom, Dick, and Harry to open their accounts and start having their financial transactions through their wallet from their mobile. So it is supposed to get a financial inclusion of almost every individual in the world, whoever is connected to through a wallet or connected to a net, even on the mobile phone also. Right, so that is what it is supposed to be. So you are not you cannot be swayed, you cannot controlled by governments or central bank or anything. you are totally in control of whatever money you hold, as long as you remember the password, right, or the private key. So that is how it is supposed to create. But now you can see it's become so expensive, and the cost of conducting transactions has become so much that it is no more any normal people, even middle class, upper middle class also could shudder to put money in the Bitcoin, because they know it can go to minus 50% within 1 month, right? So you can lose your money also, or at the same time it is very expensive also, because the cost of mining transaction fee is very high. Right. So crypto influencers, specialized individuals, you have seen huge number of parties in the middlemen. Bitcoin was supposed to eliminate the middlemen, right? They are not supposed to be. It's supposed to be two people can trade with each other. But today, if you see lakhs of some people, so many people, you see YouTube everywhere, they're trying to promote Bitcoin. You say Bitcoin is going to crash, say something negative in that Twitter, you will become a bad boy, and a lot of people will come gung-ho at you. Right? Even Elon Musk got almost, had to change his words, because he tried to put sense into Bitcoin's thing. Initially, he was, fond of it. Later on, when he found it was guzzling energy like anything, he tried to turn back and discourage its usage by his company. And then he was, abused like anything on the Twitter. And then he had to go slow on whatever he was doing. So Bitcoin, that sort of interest groups have come about. So there's no more freedom of individual. I dare not stand somewhere and shout saying that Bitcoin is a bad thing, because I know what all could happen and who are all behind it. So Bitcoin seems to have failed at almost everything. So whatever it was supposed to do, just like how we said, internet was supposed to make freedom of life free for everyone, right? But finally, power ended up in a few. Same way, Bitcoin was supposed to make every individual on the earth, included into the financial system and free. But it exactly ended up again, opposite. A few miners control it, and a few countries, especially China and a few countries, used to control it. And then, it became a plaything of the few, and most of them are anti-government, and they don't want to fall into regulation. And if they do something wrong, nobody could save the victims, right? Because they're not regulated. So whatever we're supposed to do, exactly opposite has been happening. We often come across so many scams. Every day you'll find some scam after that. If you look with look carefully. Even other day, an MP police have cracked a big scam. Initially, they were saying Bitcoin is behind the scams. So now these people that this is stable coins are safer. So you can trade those stable coins, and wherever organizations are in the crypto domain, but using KYC AML, you deal with them, nothing would happen. But this particular set of scammers exactly used all these people who are using KYC AML very well, like WazirX, like some of these stable coins, USDT, okay, all these things, Tether. They've used all these permission cryptocurrencies. They've used all these things, and then try to scam a lot of money, people's innocent people's money from India into Pakistan in a circuitous manner, right? So number of Ponzi schemes are going on. Number of different layers are coming up, trying to group people into buying collectively, Bitcoins, etc. So all these things, they just vanish one day. So many, these have become time medicine now. Bitcoin prices move. If one influencer tweets and it will go up, and some influencer tweets saying it's bad, it will come down. And then one country says some negative thing, it will crash. And some small country says I'm adopting it like a digital currency, it will move marginally. So it is all moving to rumors and margins and some happenings. There's not much sense in all this madness that's going on, right? Every day new farm frauds are coming out. Cyber fraud syndicate laundering money through cryptocurrency exchanges fraudsters. This is one of the recent news that has come. So it is not just Bitcoin. We are not trying to single out Bitcoin. Bitcoin has got its positives, right? But it is being used because it is sort of a pseudonymous or anonymous. People are trying to use it in wrong ways, and malicious people are creating accounts and then transferring money. Fraudsters are transferring money across the world without accountability. Though a lot of countries are still tries to put checks and balances, but still it is not a foolproof manner. They cannot be controlled like normal people, because mining, any network that generates the money, by mining, anybody can log in and create their own money. Okay, generate the money by putting in some resources. okay, which is not really controlled by the government. Okay, so this sort of systems are difficult to control, especially public and permissionless platforms like the Bitcoin. So now we have crypto ecosystem. This is a slide taken from Rohit Nagpal. He's one of the legends of Indian cryptocurrency ecosystem. He is perhaps a lot of people would have learned so many things from him. He continues to do wonderful things. It's like created something called hi-fi blockchain, which is a miningless blockchain, because one of the biggest problems why in India we're not able to use any blockchains for developing our smart contracts and everything in public blockchains is because you have the cryptocurrency thing. So he has created a hi-fi blockchain, which is a miningless blockchain, which does not use cryptocurrencies to push transactions. It could have transaction fee, etc. It could be dealt in outside the system using payment gateways and other things, and it does not have any of its own. There does not have a native currency of its own. So it's an amazing paradigm is created. So he has come out with a beautiful mind map. So, I think he's given a lot of free resources which are in the public domain, from which I have taken because they comprehensively explain what is this decentralized finance. So you have different concepts like DeFi, decentralized finance, which is now catching up like anything in crypto world. You have hundreds of different types of parties offering advisors services, and there are different types of blockchain. Every blockchain says I've got my own positive point and unique selling proposition for people to adopt me. And each one of them, there are different types of functions they are adherent to. There are different standards. If you see NFTs or tokens, there are different types of standards, and every blockchain has got its own standard. Okay, and there are also certain work is going on towards creating a general standard for open blockchain tokens, etc. Some lot of work is going on, and over a period of time, all these things could gain, so that you gain traction, so that you will have a common standard across all the blockchains. For example, the data structures, everything could be a JSON data structure or XML data structure, whatever. They could accept data in the form of these things. So like that, you could have common data standards, common token standards, common way of operating. So these sort of things slowly and steadily happening. A lot of middleware is being currently adopted. Okay, and then they are being used for a number of purposes like ICOs, IOs, and in the middle you have a lot of unauthorized parties who are providing different services. And if you go into YouTube, you'll find everybody having their own channel and talking about it, and you'll be totally confused about who is talking what about what, cryptocurrency or something. And every day some new cryptocurrencies being launched. There are more than 2,000, 3,000 different types of crypto assets and tokens, or maybe 4,000 every day. If people are launching their own tokens and cryptocurrencies by modifying, because these are all open source. Anybody can log in and you can download and modify those projects, programs, and then they can create their own variations, right? So that's how this entire decentralized finance is ended up with so many different paradigms, services, public blockchains, cryptocurrencies, crypto assets, tokens, and it's become a sort of a chaos, you can say, because it's sheer madness that's going on right now. And there are so many problems associated with all these things. These are all well-known problems. There are transaction fee. Some people charge transaction fee. Some people don't charge, and it keeps varying with time. Some people have fixed, and the transaction speeds are very different. And even if you follow all the KML, everything, and tomorrow a lot of mischief still happens. And if somebody does a mischief to you, you cannot go to any government and ask them to support you and help you out, because government would ask you why you have done it. We are not regulating it. We are not controlling it. We are not supporting it. And still we'll try to help you out, but we cannot assure you. So that sort of problem right now. The entire crypto world is going through a number of issues. Some of these problems have been highlighted here. And there are different people keep coming out with a different sort of a solution to address all these problems. But overall, you can see the Animal Farm is a beautiful book which is written by George Orwell almost more than 115, 120 years back. It talks about the Russian Revolution. How ultimately the people who actually were behind the revolution, they ended up being similar to the people who were actually caused revolution, because against whom the revolution was carried out. So it talks about an animal farm in which some of the animals revolt, and finally they end up becoming like the same people, humans, to against whom they revolted. The same was the case with the internet, and now the same is the case with the entire cryptocurrency movement that's going on. So this is not I have not written it. One of the opinion leaders has written it in a medium. So the crypto movement, however, has begun to merge with the very order and power structure it set out to defeat, and there is no signs of reversal. Right, the crypto movement is destroying itself. So that is unfortunately the story of this entire cryptocurrencies that's going on. Bitcoin is a mathematical marvel, and this is the article which I had written in LinkedIn, which drew a lot of criticism from various quarters. So it's created by mathematics and programmers and not business leaders have put this. And maintained by a few miners and a few geographic miners are running the same program and offer distribution. So it is centralized in terms of logic, right? If somebody cracks the logic, the entire network is gone. So they say it's a decentralized distributor, but the heart of it actually is centralized and does not prevent criminals from owning, earning, transferring. Any criminal could potentially. We have seen how people are, even the stable coins and all that have been owned and transferred and taken. Money has been taken out from India into Pakistan for wrong things. No accountability to the investors. If you lose your Bitcoin, you're gone. Nobody can protect you. Governments will not come and save you, right? Networks runs the most irresponsible application causing so it is environmental destruction and degradation. So it is known fact Bitcoin. Of course, there are now a lot of effort is being going on to reduce use a lot of renewable energies, etc. For mining, but still, the amount of computer processing power and the energy that is being used to create these bitcoins, or manage this network, it's equal to the electricity requirements of a few countries, and that really destroys the environment. And that is what even Elon Musk was trying to address in some of his tweets earlier, for which he was very much banished. So Bitcoin is supposed to provide a responsible decentralization, but nothing but it's a centralized network. Few miners are holding it, few opinion leaders play it, and then it is few countries control it. So similarly, Ethereum is also similar. Currently, they are trying to change to a proof of stake mechanism, etc. And but any quantum computing program, inspired program tomorrow, if it comes and cracks the link between the private key and the public key, or digital signatures on a Bitcoin network, and then it capped the cryptography, then it could do the same transactions, same calculations much faster than normal computer. Then potentially it could impose double spending, and then one double spending is enough for people to lose faith, in a blockchain, and if it becomes zero, nobody would come to protect you. So, but the thing is, we are trying to say that everything is fine, but let's not carry all these negatives to the blockchain technology, because blockchain technology is amazing technology. All these things have solutions in the normal blockchain technology in the enterprise scenario, because if somebody were to crack your program, and immediately there are people who are vested people, so many people are together running it. First of all, they are not allowing outsiders to come in and crack your system. But once you allow it, once you try to do it also, it can be fined. Those things can be blocked, and those blocks can be removed, or they can also update the program and make it quantum resistant, right? So all these things could be addressed in permissioned blockchains, but the Puritans who are after the Bitcoin permissionless blockchains, they would say your blockchain is not a blockchain, etc. But if you categorize blockchains as permissioned blockchains, permissionless blockchains, private blockchains, private and permissionless, or public and permissionless, etc., then blockchain is one of the concepts wherein the transactions are grouped in in blocks and then distributed, right? That is blockchain. So there are other metadata or factors that go on to describe what it is supposed to do and what the network is supposed to achieve by leveraging this particular technology. So you have different types of traded exchange. Like right now, we are very much used to physical currency. The way things are progressing now, we have a lot of countries. We are used to now a lot of money is now transacted in digital money. In the past 2 years, there's been a 60 to 70% growth in the digital money. People are no more. You rarely now see notes. Everybody is using PayU or Google Pay or any of the payment gateways or Beam or UPI, etc. So to exchange and payment gateways to transact. So you don't rarely see any physical money. But the thing is, the physical money is also there. It is not being used. So digital money is nothing but physical money being traded in the form of in digitally. right? But next is coming to central bank digital currency, in which the government stopped producing physical currency, and instead they could produce digital money, and this will go into the accounts of all the people. They would have same accounts or new accounts, and there'll be no backing corresponding physical notes or coins to back the existence of this particular currency. Now, these are all supported by the government. That's called CBDC. And next level from the CBDC is use the programmable central bank digital currency by leveraging a blockchain properties. So that is CBDC on a blockchain. So that is what today you have seen how China. I think recently there was an article. China has come out with the ECNY, wherein they have come out with a central bank yuan, which is programmable yuan, which can be leveraged on a blockchain, and then they're producing it instead of physical currency. So they started already experimenting it, and they have nominated number of banks and some financial system partners to see how it is being used and any problems are associated with it, and how to launch this in a stable manner and sustainable manner. So a lot of work is going on. Our Indian government also is working. Now, a number of shares and bonds have started being issued on blockchains, and then some of them are also being issued on Ethereum blockchain, permission and permissionless blockchain also. You have reward points is another traded asset, wherein you have the reward points are created when some things are being used, and those things could be encashed potentially for some of the assets. So all these things could be, real money could be used to buy reward points, or a network can create its own, token, like a DM token supposed to be launched by Facebook and its associated people. They could launch an Amazon payback reward points, or Amazon points. Number of the networks could create their own reward points, and people can buy them, and then people can or earn them through their activities. So these are also could be well managed on the blockchain. For example, some of the leading airlines networks like this airline, etc., they are collectively working on a system of creating blockchain system for trading all these reward points, because the biggest problem with the reward point is, suppose Jet Airways is giving you a reward point, and Jet Airways vanished, and all the reward points go forever. But the reward points are supposed to be there forever with you, and you're supposed to one day or the other redeem it, right? That's where the blockchain ecosystem could come, and Jetware is a part of a blockchain ecosystem, and that would have been secured by the blockchain, so that the reward points could then be used by all from instead of Jet Airways with other members of the blockchain who are managing it could safeguard your rights and your assets. So that way, reward points are one of the fantastic use cases for blockchain. And cryptocurrencies basically network natives, no asset backing. For example, Bitcoin, there is no asset backing, etc. It is more expense backed, right? So, so it is in some countries it is now regulated, because a couple of countries are on the verge of passing it as their own national currency. But other countries are not, most of the other countries have not recognized. So there is no protection in such countries. And you have stable coins. One of the biggest problem with cryptocurrencies is Bitcoin varies like mad. Currency is not supposed to vary like anything. It's not supposed to vary by more than plus minus 10%, over a period of 1 year. But cryptocurrencies vary plus minus 40-50%. So people are shit scared of this. They can say, how you can call this as cryptocurrency? It's like a share, right? But they said, okay, stable coins are there. They will take care of this issue, and they will always be pegged at the same price. And there will be another system that will be put in place to manage and keep the price same. Though there are still a plus minus 10% variation that happens, it's never a stable coin is never stable. But still, it is very close. $1 USDT means it will almost like 0.95 to 1.05 most of the time. Then you have NFTs that are coming up, and tokens. All these things. Token is the real life digital representation of a real life asset. It's called tokenized asset. So, and then you have non-fungible tokens, fungible tokens, hybrid tokens, semi-fungible tokens. So the number of different types of tokens that are used in the blockchain ecosystem to represent real life assets, and then trade them and change their ownership, etc. And regulations have been slowly coming about. Some countries have accepted, some countries are regulating the people who are taking part in the ecosystem. Some countries are putting some limits onto what level you can get, individuals can expose themselves to, so that they don't lose out a lot at a time. So all these things are number of, but all these things currently, the entire is part of, mostly they are the second half of, from the third, from the especially the second half of this particular chart. They are all part of decentralized finance, wherein they are not regulated and selectively regulated and carry huge risk currently. And this particular in this diagram, I am trying to represent how this cryptocurrency movement is slowly progressing. Initially, currently we are used to using fiat currency, and the global currency is deemed to be US dollar, right? So that is what we are used to. Over a period of time, you have this Bitcoins and Ethereum, Ripples, all these currencies. They said, let us use blockchain to help people to transfer their money from one place to another place by leveraging net. Like instead of making a phone call or a trunk call, normal network, you use a internet-based call, right? Like that. So this particular cryptocurrencies enable, the moment you convert your money into a Bitcoin, Bitcoin can be transferred at lightning speed in a second to anywhere in the world, somebody's wallet, and then can be reconverted in their respective country through an exchange, right? So all these things could happen, and sometimes under the hood, under the knowledge of the regulators also. So that is the way things have been being used currently. They're using a number of types of cryptocurrencies as a medium to convert and then transfer and then reconvert, right? So that is the way permissionless crypto is inspiring. Some of the banks are also using this. And then second step is, instead of fiat currency to a Bitcoin and then transfer Bitcoin. So everybody would have a digital currency, a central bank digital currency, and then this central bank digital currencies, the digital, instead of rupee to this one, you can convert the central bank digital currency into Ethereum, and then you can transfer that Ethereum to other counterparty. And this is all the advantage of blockchain is supposed to minimize the counterparty risk, right? Because it acts like a trusted third party. But still, we know Ethereum, Bitcoin, all these things, if they are going to be cracked, they could be a potential problem, because they're also not regulated. Their governments are agreeing and regulating it. It's fine. Okay. So this particular use case also is for those people who are brave enough and regulation is okay to deal with these permissionless cryptocurrencies to be the medium for exchange. So that is, for example, recently there was a bond that was issued by the World Bank and in some countries. So they use this in their particular ecosystem. They try to create a central bank digital currency, and then they try to issue a bond in Ethereum, $100 million bond in Ethereum, and then a proof of transaction, etc. The bonds were issued to people across the world who are investing in the bonds. So this is the next level. So this is already implemented in some particular use cases. But we would, we are looking at governments actually, they would not ultimately recognize these particular systems. They will be coming out with their own, central bank digital currencies, and they would not like to use any permissionless systems, or if at all they use, they will be recognized exchange medium, right? So right now you can say currently people who don't use Bitcoins or any cryptocurrencies, etc., they use R3 based. R3 Coda is a network. So R3 Coda leverages a network, and they may use very fleeting usage per second or something like that of perhaps a Ripple or permission currency. But mainly they use storing the proof of transactions, etc., or as a DLT, distributed ledger technology properties, to ensure the a proof of transactions and quick exchange of money across the world, but minimal usage of cryptocurrencies. They won't invest or hold any cryptocurrencies at all in the system. Okay, so but you leverage the blockchain properties to transfer money. So why blockchain is being used for transferring money? Because you are leveraging power of internet, and also in an immutable, safe and secure manner and accountable manner, so that you are crashing the cost and crashing the time. This is supposed to be a killer application. So cross-border money transfer, cross-border trade, all these things are supposed to be killer applications, because that is where today a lot of time and money and counterparty risk is there, right? So by leveraging blockchain's properties, you can potentially eliminate all these various cost implications, etc. So all those various things that are creating a problem, increasing the cost and creating the confusion and also reducing the trust. So that is why cross-border trade and cross-border currency exchange is the currency movement is the killer application. And ultimately, instead of US dollar being the mediator, we could have a global blockchain based central bank digital currency, which is run by a World Bank or United Nations inspired organization that could perhaps be behind one thing. Otherwise, you have currently European Union is trying to create their own currency, and then the central bank currency, and then you have USA, and then you have China, which is trying to create expand its operations into many countries which are now owing allegiance to it and trying to influence them and make its currency as the number 2 currency in their countries. So like that, but ultimately all these things could balance out, and there could be emergence of a global central bank digital currency, and every country would come out with a central bank digital currency, and then that central bank instead of US dollar, this would be the way in which money could transfer from one account to another account over the internet, right? So that is the ultimate destination. What we feel, it may take some time, but it could be the eventually play out. Okay, that's what, because we need to think very much into the future as to how all these things could finally end. When blockchain is having widespread adoption everywhere, because leveraging blockchain for central bank digital currency is a must, because then only you could monetize the data what you have, and data that is being generated through IoT devices or through man-machine interactions, machine-to-machine interactions, and commercial dealings among them. That could be well facilitated by a digital currency which is running over a network and safeguarded by the power of a blockchain. So that is why everybody is moving in the direction. It's a slow movement. Some are moving fast, some are moving slow, but ultimately some are trying to develop and trying to adopt Bitcoin itself. But we are not sure how much it is sustainable, right? So some of the key insights is regulation is very much, because we have to ensure that we should not try to try to play around the regulation and trying to put in place some system, because tomorrow if regulators don't accept it, the entire application, whatever you're trying to put in place, will be gone. All the investments will be gone. So you always be cognizant of the fact that regulation means is recognition by government, and it's mainstreaming. So whatever we do, whatever interactions we have, please ensure that we are not going against the regulations or not trying to put in the regulations. Bitcoin actually now is taking pride with Elon Musk's tweets. He's investing or he's not investing, or El Salvador has recognized some country which was having a lot of problems with its own currency, which never had its currency, and for whatever its own problems, it has recognized Bitcoin, and people say it is a big thing, and then people try to push up the price of Bitcoin and then to dump it, right? So unfortunately, Bitcoin has become like that. And then we have, without mainstreaming and government recognition, all cryptos are risky assets. Governments have to come around and, unfortunately, cryptocurrency try to create a parallel ecosystem across the world, but that will always remain a fringe, on the fringe, and it will never take over and never be a big player, because nobody would like to, only risky people. And today you find one guy has bought it for $65 million worth of a non-fungible token or an asset, digital asset. But tomorrow that, he made some freaky money by investing some Bitcoin, and that went from a few $1,000s into $50,000, and he made some money, and he tried to use that money, part of that money, and try to create some aura around this cryptocurrency entire system. That is why he just tried to throw some money of $68 million to create that aura rather than really invest in particular asset. Right? These sort of games people are playing in the cryptocurrency domain. We need to be cognizant of that. And cryptocurrency is a misnomer, in my opinion, because it is never a currency. First of all, a currency means it is accepted by government, right? It is a money. And then, government says, I'm responsible for this, whatever asset you have in the hand. But here, government is not accepting. And further, it moves like a share. It is all moving on exchanges with demand and supply, and it fluctuates wildly. And you can never call a currency like that. So that is the way shares behave, right? So you should never use this word called cryptocurrency, in my opinion. And non-fungible tokens can represent any unique actor. NFT something. Now it is becoming, a big fad because of the $68 million. Somebody threw some money to buy some art. But otherwise, non-fungible tokens are nothing but unique representation, representation, digital representation of anything unique. It could be a human being, it could be a thing, it could be any art or piece or anything that is created once. It can be which cannot be broken down, so which can be unique and stay forever. So that's nothing but any asset. So what is more important is blockchain can be used to prove the ownership of who owns this particular item of this non-fungible token. So you can use blockchain for that. That is what we're trying to do by creating a marketplace for non-fungible tokens on hi-fi blockchain. We are trying to create for real life pieces of art, proof of ownership by leveraging the blockchain and non-fungible tokens and NFT marketplace. You can use like that instead of trying to create some asset and trade it and saying that the price is going up and going down, etc. Okay, all these things I feel it's like games. So and CBDC on blockchain can replace physical currency and offer tradability with blockchain trust across asset classes and unlocking value of data and IT. That is going to be the big thing, and governments are very cognizant of it, and they're all slowly and steadily working towards that. And we could see it, one day or the other, and that's when India also would become a superpower, because we have the maximum number of IoT devices, and going to have more number of autonomous vehicles because of the population. And then we are having a lot of population which churns out a lot of data, and also consumers of data. And then because of all these things, we are going to have maximum data, and thus the maximum value when the data value is unlocked with the help of blockchain. So the scope of creation of a global GBDC, in my opinion, by replacing US dollar, because right now there are a lot of talks saying that China is trying to take over by creating the EECNY, and one day or the other they want to make theirs as a standard global central bank digital currency. But I'm not sure whether USA, India, and Europe they would allow it. So that's where they would come out with a global CBDC, which could be perhaps manned by some organization like World Bank. There could be a world blockchain-based, global blockchain organization, like how you have IRDA, Insurance Regulatory Development Authority. There could be a blockchain regulatory development authority or something like that, which should come up and which could create a global digital currency. That's what I feel. So and different countries are doing extremely well. Australia is doing very well in industry, economy, collaboration. We can learn from them. Britain is doing very proactive. They have been always sending out fantastic visionary reports about how technologies can be used, blockchain can be used. China is really taking lead in terms of any emerging technology, especially even blockchain. Also, they're far ahead in terms of different almost all possible use cases. And Dubai is doing urgency. They want to completely eliminate paper with the help of blockchain. Estonia, they were attacked by Russia, and they implemented blockchain across every domain to be able to survive against any future cyber attacks. Singapore has got a fantastic sandbox and ecosystem there and support startups, and they're strategically and with a long-term vision, they're experimenting with a lot of blockchain applications and path-breaking work they are doing. And Thailand has implemented blockchain across for national identity, issuing bonds, and then creating marketplaces for data also and supply chains. And they're working very closely with IBM. USA is doing, we know USA generally governance systems are very fair and very good. So if we combine all these things, definitely, blockchain in India also, we can learn from all these various countries and then put in place a very good ecosystem for blockchain to flourish by taking the best from everywhere, because India has got the ability, like Hinduism religion itself, it is an assimilation of best of various religions. It is not a religion, it's not a way of life, people say, right? Like that, India has got that inherent ability to take the best from everywhere, and then and has got that ability to assimilate and imbibe it. So that way we can take the best from everywhere and really improve. And blockchain is that's what for us cryptocurrencies and central bank digital currency and tokenization is concerned. But now I'll quickly run through some of the enterprise applications. In enterprise applications, we don't go for cryptocurrencies. We use blockchain as a peer-to-peer distributed ledger technology for new generation of transaction applications called smart contracts. These establish trust, accountability, and transparency. We have seen all these things in the form of animals and their characters. So all these things will combine together to offer the trust and immutability, transparency in the transactions which conducted through a blockchain ecosystem. There's a ledger that is shared among people who are participating in the network. and conducting transactions with each other, and the transactions are conducted through smart contracts. And unlike a lot of people who keep saying that blockchain, all the data is public, etc., it's not so. You can have utmost privacy and confidentiality and strictly share only the data that is supposed to be shared, and provide access to only the relevant right people in blockchain. And then you have a consensus-based system wherein it's not one person who's running the system, but the collection of organizations who are collectively taking decision of the system. We have seen in blockchain, we have permission, the other systems, we have public who can view, who can who can read, who can write, who can validate. So we have different types of blockchain ecosystems, and it is blockchain is not just Bitcoin, which is a permissionless public as Puritans would like to make us believe. But there are a number of variations, possibilities, and characteristics which could use. So, for example, if you go to China, it will say I will use it for disintermediation, not decentralization. So there are characteristics of blockchain which we can use, and in India we have been seeing these are the use cases which, when we analyzed, these are the use cases finding very much favor with the government. The governments, all the departments are acting in silos. So to eliminate silos and create a single version of the truth, single source of truth, that's where Indian government departments are very much interested. So durable record keeping, health records, educational records, municipal records, central fraud registries, a single source of truth, chain of custody, like provenance, authenticity of trust based track and trace for food, pharma, etc. So, and multiple agents, collaborations, income tax, and then marketplaces, auctions, procurement, project management, and then trusted high value transactions like insurance, letter of credit. There are a lot of wherever you find all the frauds and fakes and lack of trust and duplication of data and multiple areas, you are finding blockchain has got its own utility, and it could be a good way to go in the future. So fundamental, also most important is we should have a proper digital identity and KYC management system, because in blockchain, every participant or thing or asset, everything has to have its own identity, and that identity is very, very crucial. So a lot of work is going on and creating a good KYC management system, blockchain linked digital identity system. So that is an authentic, foolproof, and secure verification management system that ensures privacy of individual citizens, authorities, devices, or applications. So wherever you find a lot of blockchain related transactions that happen, you find that the first one, identity is being issued. And then you'll find today, nowadays, I mean, I don't want to talk it in public, but you'll find suddenly government has created some identities, in particular, one particular sphere, whether it is healthcare or agriculture or benefits or somewhere or the other. And suddenly people discover some new identity has been created for them. But most probably that is linked to a blockchain-based ecosystem, whether it is startups, new startups. Startups are also now, are having their own blockchain identities. So these identities are must. So when you have that's the most fundamental, good, strong digital identity system is a must for any blockchain ecosystem. And then whatever transactions are happening on it, whatever. So some of the problems that are, whatever transactions happening throughout the life of that life cycle of that particular asset or individual or thing, that could be traced on a blockchain. Okay, right. So by scanning a QR code or by looking into an explorer, you will be able to find all this information. So some of the important applications like digital identity inclusion, NFT, land records, one of the biggest use cases, 60% of the court cases in India are because of land records, and a lot of states are now working on implementing blockchain for land records. And tokenization, digital creation, tracking of any asset throughout the lifetime, starting birth to retirement, or trade finance, supply chain track and trace in pharma, financial applications like interbank reconciliations, loans. Voting is one of the biggest, is going to be a path-breaking application. And so far, there were a lot of fear about using blockchain for voting. But USA has perfectly implemented voting in the recent USA presidential elections, wherein because of the COVID, a lot of people could not reach out to the polling booths. And on the spot, their blockchain-based identities were created, and they were able to execute their franchise through their mobile phones. So that has been proven, and they said, it is taking care of all the problems. And whatever people are now trying to find the problems, saying that this particular blockchain-based voting could potentially have this problem, they said this problem also is present in the current system. And blockchain reduces further the risk of such a problem happening, right? So all the naysayers of blockchain have been addressed in the recent USA elections. And once it is proven, I'm sure it will then become a fantastic use case, because every individual in the world, every adult could exercise the franchise through blockchain one day. So, right, healthcare, clinical, written recently a book on clinical trials, medical records, reconciliation, supply chain and pharma supply chain, etc. Agriculture, extensive use of blockchain in agriculture, in disintermediate marketplaces, and also to connect the supply and demand very well, so that farmers could then focus only on producing the right type of item and right quantity of item, so that the pricing problems could be addressed. Today, you'll find some of the farmers producing too much of rice and forcing the government to buy it at a very high price, which is a minimum price, and then more than the market price, and government is ending up spending a lot of money, and that they're putting it in godowns which are getting spoiled, and they are wasted, right? So government is spending money which is actually to buy the things which are wasted. So blockchain connects all this by connecting multiple parties together and synchronizing the demand and supply. Then it would bring about a revolution in the form of forecasting the right type of demand and asking farmers to produce where they are going to get the maximum returns and the pricing. At the same time, they could also produce organic stuff, and they could produce premium vegetables, premium crops, and superfoods that could fetch them high prices in the future, right? So central bank digital currency is very much talked about use case. That is the way the world is going towards. Complaints tracking, spare parts, components. A lot of the big Boeing and some of the largest automobile companies in the world, they are using blockchain to track their and facilitate complaints. Cyber security, access management of drones, IoT, robots. Robots are already Sophia is controlled through a blockchain. Everybody knows. So that way, blockchain is already started making its present in the IoT domain, because IoT is supposed to be dumb devices they could be hacked into. So they need to be protected with the help of blockchain when they are when we are producing them in large scale, because the scale is going to be enormous. If there are going to be 50 billion IoT devices, right, and there are going to be so many more drones and IoTs, etc. So disinformation benefit distribution is one of the biggest use cases. We have seen World Food Program. They have eliminated a whole lot of middlemen and directly transfer money to refugees over a private Ethereum network. So then project management, transparency in procurement, it can eliminate, blockchain can eliminate corruption in procurement and favoritism in procurement, and national blockchain. So all the countries, every country is working on creating their own policy and system wherein they could facilitate all the departments to quickly go onto the blockchain. And then this huge work going on standards and interoperability, because you are having multiple platforms, multiple ecosystems, multiple countries, multiple data formats. So if everything is to work seamlessly together, and actually blockchain is ultimately going to be an integrating factor among enterprises. And so if we are to do it, a lot of different platforms have already come about, applications have come about, and middleware have come about, adapters have come about. But if you are able to come out with a good interoperable system, it will be good. For example, DAML, if anybody knows DAML, digital asset market language, that is a beautiful way in which by leveraging DAML, you can write smart contracts that can operate on any blockchains or even centralized databases also. So like that, different tools are being discovered every day, which will help and make our life very much easier and leverage the blockchain to the hilt. And we have seen Estonia 100% on blockchain. Dubai, they have it is the world's first city going to be and every area they are putting blockchain in use. So there's a Dubai title deed in Dubai which is recorded on the blockchain, and then you have World Food Program which is implemented blockchain for transferring the benefits to individuals directly and saved a lot of money. And then you have Singapore, it is using Sandbox. It has created when they create a project, they have multiple phases with a long term, like HSK Grandmaster. They think through various phases and then execute it step by step in the appropriate manner. And finally, depending on the outcomes, then they go and full scale implement those solutions in such a way that the existing networks are not disturbed. And then full impact of blockchain could be leveraged. Thailand is one country which has been extensively using blockchain, and it has been well covered in my book, Blockchain for e-governance. So there's a 30-page coverage on entire usage of Thailand is silently and very solidly implementing blockchain for a number of use cases, for its identity system, for its bonds, for central bank digital currency. Number of use cases it has been in various advanced stages of leveraging. For oil, oil companies are using for supply chain and procurement and documentation, etc. Transparency. And you have smart cities. So this is a smart city based blockchain network. You have number of use cases in smart cities, smart health data, smart transport, smart energy, smart security, smart finance. Blockchain can help in coordinating over a distributed ledger in a decentralized manner, and immediate sharing of the data of all these various divisions and departments and areas. So blockchain is the best integration factor that can leverage the we have seen number of use cases of in smart cities. There's a distributed data exchange between various parties in a particular a healthcare ecosystem. For example, when an accident is happening, in Bhopal, Smart City has conducted a pilot in which when an accident happens, the body, the injured is transported to the nearby hospital. So he has to pass through signals, and there are a lot of parties who are in the middle. And if there is any delay in him getting the operation bed, then we could lose the life. So they used a blockchain-based system to connect all these various companies. Called Somish has implemented a pilot wherein they could dramatically improve the coordination between all the parties involved in transporting the injured from various accident spots to the hospital, and then they could save a lot of lives. So I mean, I'm talking about how coordination between multiple parties could be enhanced dramatically with the help of blockchain in all these various ecosystems. In India, also, a lot of initiatives are going on. Voting EC is working on with the IIT. Medical records, IIT Madras has recently developed block track. University certification, a lot of work is going on. University certification, and government is in the process of launching JNTU. Hyderabad is launching JNTU. Telangana is launching RFP for university-based certification. Quality Control of India is launching blockchain-based university certification. So IIT Kanpur is working on national blockchain-based certification system for all universities. So land records, a lot of states have already done POCs and pilots, and they come out with RFPs. But then municipal certificates, a lot of pilots have been done. Benefit subsidy distribution, GSFC, DTI complete a POC, and fertilizer subsidy distribution. TRI is already implementing blockchain for unsolicited commercial communication. NPCI is having a big wing which is experimenting on blockchain, as a backbone for interbank reconciliations or quick transfer of money and messaging across multiple parties instantaneously to cut down the time taken of for any transaction that happens, and in a safe and secure manner. And agricultural supply chain, Telangana government is about to come out with already come out with the RFP for their seed tracking and financial application. There also Telangana government is also working on blockchain for land record, blockchain for university certification, blockchain procurement, and blockchain for the death certificates. Number of use cases they're exploring, and blockchain for civil supplies distribution, blockchain for chit fund management. So number of use cases have been encouraging. And financial applications, RBI Ministry of Finance along with several banks working on extensive blockchain adoption. And almost everything under the sun is being covered by RBI as far as financial application is concerned. And they're supporting blockchain banks consortiums to band together and work together, and then implement a blockchain to dramatically improve their operations and services that they can offer to the citizens in a foolproof manner. So the key benefits, single source of truth, we have seen reduction of cost and time taken, eliminate problems with reconciliation, mismatch of accounts, eliminate identity frauds, prevent data breaches. Blockchain is being used for all this, being envisaged by Indian public sector and government departments to provide these benefits, and they're working on all these various areas. If you showcase this, that blockchain can do all these things for any given application, you would be welcome government departments, and they will ask you to do a POC and pilot and see how it can be adopted. This is a Vajra platform. The extensive documentation by NPCI about using blockchain. Income tax department, we discussed, they are using blockchain to eliminate loan frauds and unnecessary padding up of incomes by people who want to avail loans, and also for a smooth flow of information regarding TDS among all the banks for respective individuals. UCC, unsolicited commercial communication. This is and land records. This is also a paper by NEJD about how blockchain can dramatically reduce the problems in court cases. Almost 60% court cases can be reduced if blockchain is implemented in land records. So, and blockchain for procurement. This is the Telangana procurement use case where they're working for implementing procurement. They're in the process of almost finalizing a POC or a pilot for this. And this is a project which is covered in IIM Ahmedabad also, warehouse receipt reconciliation project on blockchain. This is an Indian, World is a startup based in Bombay, and they have one hackathon, and now they have covered. They're providing loan to farmers against their receipts of their crop, which is stored in nominated warehouses. Because earlier they had to dump the products produced at any price that was available at that point of time, because they did not have the staying power. Now they could hold the items in the warehouse, and once the price comes up, then they could sell it. Till the time they could use the warehouse receipts, which are which are issued over a blockchain, and give it to banks and avail loan against them. So this is dramatically improving a lot of the farmers, and a real use case of blockchain that is being implemented and covered in IIM Ahmedabad. So this is organic seeds tracking, organic produce tracking, a NABARD sponsored program in Tamil Nadu, Madurai, with Madurai Agribusiness Incubation Forum of NABARD. They are implementing this pilot and between various farmers, producers, organizations to dramatically improve the to produce track and trace for organic products, so that they could get premium. It has been found that in China that blockchain is able to provide 27% increase in the pricing for all the produce that is tracked over a blockchain. If you are able to scan a QR code and find out the origin and say that it's original, you can get 20%, 27% more premium. So that is why you will find right now also we're working, most of the use cases we are working, they're all having a clear economic impact of improving the profitability of the investors. So that is wherever you are able to demonstrate that, blockchain will find it easy and fast adoption. So you are securing drones, so you will find a drone marketplace through which autonomous object marketplace through which even autonomous the robots like Sophia are controlled. So we have seen drones playing havoc, and government is come out with a very flexible drone policy. But in future, so every drone could well be monitored over a blockchain, and so that if they are not able to identify themselves over a blockchain and that they are whitelisted, they could be taken down by the government departments or the police. So that sort of use case is being evaluated. And then most important thing is blockchain. Now, most of the time when you start a company, also you start as a proprietorship LLP, and then you start as a private limited, and then you public limited, and then a public company. In the same way, blockchain generally companies today, they evaluate within their own few departments and internal use cases for document sharing, etc. And slowly they will expand to their customers, to their vendors, and then to the end, each customer vendor can also again go up and down one level for themselves. Like that, slowly it will expand, and one day it could encompass the entire ecosystem. So as more and more people come into the fold, you have increased complexity. But the problem is, but the advantage is, you'll have increased economies of scale, and the cost will come down. You'll have a lot of profitability. So like this, number of consortiums have now come into play. We have also covered the book blockchain consortiums. All these consortiums are covered by book blockchain and governments. You have a learning credential network. You have a food consortium by Food Trust, by IBM Walmart. And then you have TradeLens by IBM and Maersk, initiated by IBM Maersk, but then it becomes an industry solution, right? Then you can trust your supplier blockchain. Marco Polo SME LEP initiative. It's a network of banks and financial institutions for providing financial benefits to facilities to SMEs. Then you have a drone-based disaster management system, which can help in coordinating in times of disaster. A lot of departments have to collaborate and work seamlessly. So that's where blockchain with its distributed ledger and decentralized decision-making system could benefit in terms of quick coordination of activities in a foolproof manner, and leveraging all these autonomous objects. So these are all use cases which have been piloted and in somewhere or the other. And so when we have coming to the challenges, this is my last slide. So it's not that all hunky-dory. Blockchain can do a lot of benefits, but it's a new phenomena, and then a lot of people still don't understand it. A lot of education is required. That is why we have launched our website portal, generativlabs.com, to provide comprehensive education, especially use case and practical oriented education, by also clearing all the fundamentals in a very simple and lucid manner, without talking too much of technical stuff, so that people will understand and benefit from and the blockchain amazing paradigm like blockchain by imbibing it. So we require to train people. We need to convince people it's not here to take jobs, but it could create more productivity. It could make our life better and faster, happen things faster. We can eat pure stuff, pure food, eliminate all the fakes everywhere. So, but it requires, since the enterprise phenomena, multiple companies, enterprises or partners are coming together, people are able to think long term about how all of them can invest and in the long run. So if somebody wants to invest money and then 5 people are using it, and then the benefits are coming and nobody is able to get commensurate with their investment, there'll be problem. So it's important for our visionary people to think about all these things in the long term and then implement it. Hello?
It's actually 1 o'clock.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So it's over. So
please wind up within 5 minutes. So that
yeah. So this is my last slide. Yeah. So this is, we are also offering this certification, blockchain-based certified blockchain professional certified solution. Okay. These are very nominally priced, and for teachers we have a code also. Teachers July 2020, like that. We can give you codes for all the professors and teachers, so that it is free of cost for them. Right. So this is what I have to say, and I hope I have given some good perspective about blockchain technology, its implications from a common man perspective and user perspective, not really technical perspective, but about the real life problems that we are facing. So thank you, and I look forward to answering some questions. Thank you, Professor Nirbai. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Very informative and knowledge sharing. In fact, you have opened the entire Pandora box of the blockchain technology, seeing the applications point of view and where in fact, India stands where that you covered. Very interesting point. So let us take few questions from the participants. One question asks, sir, does the course IT Fundamental for Blockchain provide a certificate after completion of the course?
Yeah, so we provide a completion certificate. Means there is no assessment for it. It will be a course completion certificate. So we have a assessment, robot-based assessment for certified blockchain professional and certified blockchain solution consultant, where you will get a robot which will come and ask you questions. And you'll be interacting with the robot and providing the answers. Your photograph will not be recorded, but only your answers will be recorded, and that will be populated in our assessment portal. And we will, once we go through the answers, we will provide if it is clear, we will provide the certificate. But IT blockchain fundamentals, we provide a completion certificate like Udemy and all.
Right.
Yes.
So second question, sir, how does blockchain cybersecurity compare and contrast against the traditional cybersecurity solutions? And what will be the measure for that? Yeah.
So see, first and foremost, the blockchain eliminates single point of failure. So it distributes the data in a shared ledger or a distributed ledger. So there are multiple places where the data is stored, and anybody who is having any problem with this database, and they can connect to the system and instantaneously, get up to date with the whatever is happening is going on. So they don't have the threat of losing. So the most important weapon of all these cybersecurity hackers is that they try to ransom. They try to hold your data, and then they say, unless you pay a ransom, I will not give you back your data. Right. So this risk is almost eliminated with the help of the blockchain. Next, number 2 is that blockchain, you have access, authentication, and authorization. All these things are independently. Once again, there's a new different layer, and it is executed through consensus based mechanism, and all the applications are all approved through consensus and known to set of partners. So cyber security people, if they try to they have to not only overcome. First, they have to get whitelisted their identities to participate in a system to get access, and then they should be authorized to conduct any transaction by consensus mechanism, which is once again difficult. Okay, and then so they are not authorized to, and whatever they do, they need to be able to push through and record it in a system. So all these things are, a blockchain has a multiple blocks which are very, very difficult to overcome. Okay, so that way they reduce, the blockchain eliminates the risk of this sort of things. Unless you are whitelisted, you cannot even first go and enter into a blockchain and conduct a transaction. So that's where you can go and manipulate. So blockchain is a deterrent. And third and most important thing is blockchain actually offers integrity of data. So what happens is, a lot of times people hack into systems and modify the data. Okay, in centralized data, for example, land record ownership in Karnataka in Kaveri portal, they have somebody, with the help of an insider, they logged in and they eliminated, they modified the ownership of a particular piece of land, right? So in blockchain, any data that you try to first of all modify, it has to be modified through proper authorizations, through authorized participants, and the entire track of how one asset and its ownership and its quantities are moved from one to another, the entire track is established. So you cannot just like that modify one data in a centralized database. So blockchain offers a lot of integrity of the data, because if some data is also changed, you can find out whether the data that somebody is presented to you is same as whatever has been stored in the blockchain by comparing their hashes. Okay, so so what happens is that the hash of the data is stored on the blockchain, and the data is presented to you, and the data has been manipulated and then presented. Then you can say the hash of the data that is stored is different from the hash of data that is given. So there is a mismatch. So you will reject the data. So these sort of activities are conducted by cyber hackers to modify the information, change the data. Okay, and another thing is in utilities. The sir is an expert in utilities. So in utilities, you have a lot of programs that are running, and people can potentially hack into those programs and modify the programs. So what happens is, in Estonia, for utilities, what they do is they keep on at a very, very periodic level, they keep on checking the hash of the program. If anybody goes in, logs in and changes the program, and immediately the hash is not going to match, and they find when the hash is matched, somebody has modified the program without any authorization. So that is when immediately they will be able to flag that some anomaly has happened. So it can be used. It is up to you how you want to use the blockchain's properties in reducing the risk. So it's all a question of, you cannot make it zero, but you can drastically reduce the risk of anything wrong happening if you use a foolproof and if you use a properly configured, well conceived, and strategically implemented blockchain project, blockchain application.
Sir, so we have actually 7 minutes in our hand, because we have scheduled the Zoom till 1 o'clock.
Okay.
So next two questions we can summarize in a very precise manner.
Yes.
Next question is elaborate the future of data and memory management of blockchain.
Elaborate?
Data and memory management of blockchain.
Yeah. So actually, whatever you put in blockchain, it could be staying there forever. So what happens is, you have to be very careful. There are two things. One is the amount of data that you store on the blockchain, and number two is the privacy or confidentiality that is associated with it. So it has to be in line with the countries or government's regulations, because the privacy of the individual's ability to modify the data or remove the data from the records, all these things are very important. So whenever you put in the data, you should take into account all these issues. Then only you should put in the data. And second thing is, if you put it in the data and access is provided to all other participants to view it, there could be a problem. So what you do is, a lot of times you hash the data and store the hash, and then hash also you encrypt it in such a way that only selected people will be able to access, get access to that hash. And then that hash will then point to the data that is stored in your system. It could be a MongoDB, or it could be IPFS DB, like that. So IPFS, all these things provide the distribution part of it. But so you don't keep the full data on the blockchain. So you put very selectively only whatever can be exposed, and the limited amount, most optimal amount, so that it could doesn't bloat the blockchain ecosystem. And second thing is, over a period of time, still blockchain could, after 10 years, even if you put some sort of data, and it could still bloat. So that time you could potentially, what you can do is you can create systems wherein the blockchains could store only the previous 1 year data, 2 year data, and put checkpoints, and then you can offload the data and then store it in databases, which are replicated databases, okay, in multiple locations. So what happens is your data is is only to the checkpoint will take care of your bloating of the systems. Like even today also, in all the blockchain also, there are different type of permissionless blockchains also. There are different types of nodes, wherein light nodes, SPV nodes, all these nodes, what they do is they only store data that is checkpointed, or only latest data, like that. So you don't keep the entire data in all the nodes. So selective nodes could carry multiple data, and then sometimes you use a combination of hybrid, private blockchain. If you have to use blockchain, you don't use public blockchain. I'm not talking about permissionless. Public permission blockchain could be their land records, could be a public permission blockchain, right? It could be by government, and there could be no cryptocurrency, etc. So what happens is you don't use everything on a public blockchain. You could use a private blockchain for between selected parties, and then anchor your truth on a public permission blockchain. So that there is this data is then not carried on. So, but Hyperledger Fabric and R3 Coda, they offer a very good opportunity to optimize the data storage between selected parties who are authorized to participate through channels creation, or private data management, or node-to-node consensus. So they offer very good, especially in the private public systems, wherein you want to optimize your investments in this data management and the risks, etc. So it's you have to carefully architect your system depending on your requirements and require limitations and the regulations, and then and very rightly put, you should think long term in terms of your data and memory management. And another memory management is another important thing, because you don't do complex applications and calculations on the blockchain, because it will be then a lot of validating nodes run the same program, and a lot of and verification nodes run the same program. Multiple nodes have to run the same program, and it will be memory intensive. So you try to keep a lot of operations outside the blockchain, and you conduct only selected crucial applications. Transactions are automated on the blockchain. For example, if you use a procurement, or if you use a auction management system, somebody is put up an item for auction, there could be thousands of transactions, thousands of quotes, but you don't put all the 1,000 quotes on the blockchain. You only put the selected quote on the blockchain. So there could be another application outside which is conducting this entire auction activity, right? So that's how you also manage the memory, and new age applications like DAML, etc., and are providing a very good ability to interoperate and conduct to automate a lot of the transactions in optimal manner, and then commit them to blockchain ledgers, and you can potentially use your database, and 4 other parties could be having 4 different types of blockchain ledger / database systems, and all of them could be working on the same blockchain network if they use DAML as a smart contract language. Okay, so that way you don't have to migrate a lot of old records onto the blockchain systems. That is another way in which you can manage memory in an optimal manner during migrations.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, sir. Let me take opportunity to say thank you for accepting our invitation and addressing the gathering on the topic of the blockchain technology. So on behalf of the entire Faculty of Computer Applications, Ganpat University, IEEE Ganpat University student branch, and all on behalf of the participants, those who have registered from various parts, we take opportunity to say thanks and thank you for sparing your valuable time, sir.
Thank you so
Giving
much.
so nice talk. In fact, you have started covering the fundamental of the blockchain technology, and thereafter started from 2008. Satoshi Nakama, who proposed these bitcoins, and thereafter talking many applications like very interesting things that you have covered where India stands with respect to the blockchain implementation. So we are happy to know that lots of development is happening. In fact, IIT Chennai that you have talked to IIT Chennai, they have started working on the election commission program for the blockchain technology implementation, and many more projects are there. We look forward such a cooperative cooperation from yours in future, sir, and certainly we will have some collaborative program with your
Look forward to
company,
that.
sir. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, sir. We have the blessing of Sri Padam Sri Ganpat Bhai I Patel, who is the president and patron in chief of the Ganpat University, for his constant support and vision to achieve the vision of the university. We are working towards that. We have the blessing and constant support from Dr. Mahendra Sharma. He is the Pro Chancellor and Director General of Ganpat University, who always motivate us to organize such kind of webinar, workshop, conferences to provide, the knowledge sharing on the niche activity, niche programs. So I thank each and everyone for their support. In fact, Dr. Satyan Parikh is the Executive Dean of Computer Applications. His support like anything, and because of his vision to take the Faculty of Computer Science, we are working towards achieve the milestone of the computer science for producing the competent students and to fulfill the IT manpower at national level and international level. So these all are the things that we are doing at our level. And thank you everyone for joining this. And thank you and namaskar, sir. Look forward.
Thank you so much, and I wish you all the best for a great future.
Yeah.
Thank you,
sir. Yeah, pleasure. So we wind up here. Yeah, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.